Hi guys, so what we're going to be talking about today is voltage drop. What a voltage drop is the restriction in current from the batteries to the compressor. It's a really hard thing to diagnose and test for, so we're just going to show you how it happens, how to test for it, and a couple of common factors that can cause it. So what we've got here is we've got our Sim 150 fridge. It's got a VD Pt.2 compressor. This is all being powered by our power pack set in the corner. We've then got a multimeter that we're going to need for testing, and we've also got our LED light kit that we're going to be using. We're going to open up the fridge door here, and you can see that the light inside the fridge is on. You can see though, however, that there's no cooling going inside the fridge. We're now going to come on up to the compressor, or wherever the compressor is located, and we can see that the fan on the compressor is running. That means that the thermostat in the fridge is actually demanding the compressor to run, but we can't tell whether the compressor is running or not. To do that, we're going to remove the positive cable off of the fan. This will stop the fan from running. We can then place our hand on top of the compressor to feel if there's any vibrations. If there's no vibrations or not a consistent vibration, this means that the compressor is probably not running or not running properly. So now the compressor is running, you can put your hand on top, you can feel that it's a constant vibration. The fan is on, and if you look inside the ice compartment or freezer, you should be able to lick your finger and it should stick to the sides of the ice box. That's a good sign to show that it's cooling. So the first step always in this situation is to grab your multimeter, and you need to test the voltage at the compressor, not the voltage of the batteries. You need to test the voltage actually coming to the compressor. So what you might see when you're looking at the multimeter on the back of the fridge is that it has the 12 volts there, or plus, but actually when it's starting, you'll see the voltage drop down. And if it drops below 10.5 volts, that will actually cause the compressor to stop attempting to start. The voltage will then return again back up to 12 volts, and it will continue this in a cycle on and off, which is why sometimes this is seen as an intermittent fault, because the compressor is trying to repeatedly start on and off. Once we've determined here that we've got our 12 volts solidly, we're then going to take our LED from the LED light test, and we're going to attach this. We are going to remove the positive off of the fan, and we are going to place on the red wire from the LED. It's got a little jumper on there, so you place the fan back on and put them back as one. You then take the black cable and you place it onto the D/I ports on the controller. So now with the LED plugged in, we can see on the LED that it'll be flashing. This hopefully will be flashing either 1, 2 or 3. If it's flashing 3 times, that just means that the controller is locked out, preventing it from starting. You just need to remove the power, give it 10 minutes and put the power back on again. Hopefully you'll then see flash 1 or 2 fault code. This is normally standard with a voltage drop error. We're going to look at a couple of reasons as to why the voltage is showing these fault codes. These fault codes stand for low voltage on initial startup. On startup, the compressor can drop to 15 amps. That type of load on a 12 or 24 volt system means that you actually need to have some fairly thick cabling. Cable like this, which is a 1mm cable, actually over a 5 meter span, is able to drop 12 volts down to 9.6 volts, preventing the compressor from starting and showing the one flash code. So the next issue other than cables is normally switches and connections. Some switches, if you actually look at them, they are actually not rated for anything above 10 amps, and where the compressors can draw at 15 amps, they can actually cause a blockage, causing your fault code. Also, pore crimps, corroded crimps, and corroded connections can also do the same thing. They create a restriction in the path from the battery to the compressor, and this will prevent the needed amperage and drop the voltage below that 10.5 required volts. So the thing with voltage drop is, when you're plugged in at the campsite or your dock side plugged in, the batteries are charging, meaning you've got 13.5, 14 volts there. Meaning the voltage drop through the poor cable, wires and connections actually isn't enough to stop the compressor. But however, once you unplug, and it's either maybe a day or even a couple of hours later sometimes, the fridge and the compressor might stop running, and this is caused by the voltage drop. So that's the main causes of voltage drop. Check out the links below and you can find where to get the LED test kit that we've spoken about today, and then also check out the other technical videos if you're still having issues past this. The numbers and emails are down below, and we're always happy to help.